Hello, Blue Dot community, and welcome to the final episode in this special series of the MAGA Empire Falls, and we are ending with episode 5, A Renewed Hope, the Resistance, and that the resistance is us. And that's the star card, which interestingly enough really does come up right after the tower card in the tarot deck. So something that I want to remind old viewers and then to give you guys, the new viewers, something to kind of visualize whenever, we're talking about the resistance, and our role is this regime is going to do whatever batshit crazy, insane thing they're going to do. And so whenever that happens, instead of getting... What I say is, like, whenever we start feeling that being enraged with whatever it is they're doing, take a moment, take a deep breath, disengage, and then re-engage. And we're going to re-engage two ways. The first way is with the resistance, and that can be calling elected officials. It can be supporting the progressive platforms, whatever that looks like for you. And then the second thing we do is we look at where the pushback is. And this entire week has been really highlighting where the force is pushing back. We're seeing it in our military. We're seeing it in the courts, especially the lower courts. And they're all holding. So that's something that we always look, like, where is the pushback? And now to move into us, the resistance. And before I do that, real quick, I do want to say, for entertainment purposes only, I want to play a short clip for you, which is Dr. Timothy Snyder speaking to Joyce Vance about what our role in the resistance is.
But the bottom line truth is that if we spectate, we lose. If we see ourselves as being involved, we have a chance at winning. So yeah, of course dictators fail. We're in a very typical situation where we have an aspiring dictator who faces an election. He's wildly unpopular. His policies are unpopular. He's flailing. But the election is going to be tough. It's going to be, in certain respects, rigged against the opposition. It's going to require a big win by the opposition. And that big win involves two things that make it big, three things. One is the number of votes. The second is the aspirations of the people who are winning it. And the third is the sense that it's being won by a big coalition and not just a political party. Mm-hmm. And this is, like, I'm trying to say this in a kind of like everyday, like, activist way, but this is also where the political science is at.
I love that whenever he said, if we spectate, we lose. So no spectators here. And even if all you do is vote, rest assured that is enough. So what I want to do now is I want to look into the midterms, and recent polling has the Democrats ahead in handling of the economy. And I'm going to put those wherever those show up there, those headlines of showing that. And elections are won and lost on the economy. So in the midst of all this just awful stuff going on, we have that little piece of polling that really does, play out. We can see that play out in past elections. So what I want to do now is I want to do a base reading about the midterms, and I want to do that from the Democrats' point of view, a full spread, and then also the GOP point of view. And I'm going to do two decks side by side with that. So let me pull you down here and we will get into this. And I did say for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so shuffling here on what does the midterms look like from the Democrats' point of view. Okay, from the Democrats' point of view, what does the midterms look like? Okay, and with that, the holding on to political power, okay, and legal action. That's interesting that that card is coming up because I have a clip from Mark Elias to show you here after I get done with this to kind of wrap up the readings today, or the video today. So here is holding on to political power. The challenge to them holding on to political power is going to be, this is like legal action that they're going to have to take. They are going to have to, swords I see as strategic action is how I'm going to read that. MAGA. And also reaching, I can't believe I'm feeling this, but it's like reaching across to a broader coalition. That is what I will say, a broader coalition, which goes back to what Dr. Snyder was saying. You know, we have to have a big coalition of people that is beyond just political ideology. Here we are, the King of Pentacles. I'm gonna come back to that in just a minute because this is the foundation, and then we have this is in the past. Oh, thank God. The worry and anxiety is in the past. This is giving me the feeling of, I know I read this as the E-Files and the oligarch class, but I'm looking at this from the Democrats' point of view, and I'm feeling, or the Democrats' point of view, is this feeling of like security and stability, like they have a plan. Oh, this is playing really nicely into the clip you guys are getting ready to see. Okay, I'm going to see this as Mark Elias. These are going to be my Mark Elias cards in this, and you'll understand why here in just a bit. Okay, and our outcome card, the temperance card, the patience card. And I'm just feeling this coalition of people coming together, people crossing the line. They see the batshit crazy. They see that the sundowners, they see that the sun is setting on MAGA. And so I'm going to also read this in the higher energy, remember, because I'm going to be doing the Democrat point of view. They need to have a message that appeals to people's emotions and also the physical reality. How do we feel about the economy? What is it that the Democrats can do to help that economy? How is it that we can build a bigger coalition? You know, the warning label here. Okay, so that's how I'm going to, and also just a more stable approach. I'm going to see these as like stable approach going forward. That's how I'm going to read those. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and come over here using my Robin Wood deck for, sorry, Robin, I'm using your deck for the GOP point of view of the midterms. What is the GOP's point of view for these midterms? What do we need to know about that for them? And real curious, I'm just curious about what the bottom card is going forward. I'm just seeing bigger coalition, and I actually kind of want to put that card right there. And then there we are, the star card, and then there we are, our hopes, wishes, and dreams. Okay, I'm gonna put both those cards right there. Okay, as our bottom cards. And coming back over here now, I got sidetracked by the star card. The GOP's point of view, how are they feeling? You know, like what the midterms from their point of view. What do we need to know? The midterms from their point of view. Okay, in the GOP's point of view, dear leader. He front and center right here, dear leader. Okay, and the challenge is he wants to be the government. And notice that in this deck, does that not look like Donald? Oh. So their challenge, he is their challenge to holding power in the government. And in the Rider-Waite card, it's got like the keys here. So yeah, their challenge is going to be him. He is their challenge. He is their challenge. He is the lion there. He thinks that that Leo rising that he has and that dead ferret on his head, yeah, that new mane, and that they are trying to prop him up to portray strength. Shine a light into the darkness, find a way for us to manipulate. Okay, so this is the foundation. This is what they're doing. This is also for the resistance, FYI. This was our dark night of the soul that we all had back in 2024. I think that they may be getting ready to have their dark night of the soul. That's how I'm going to choose to read that. They think that, okay, I'm going to read this as economy. I'm also going to read this as political power. So the good economy that we had, that is in the past. That is no more. Also, their political power is in the past. So anything that would be tangible for them to hold on to, they do not have that. It is in the past. And their outcome card is the Queen of Swords. Is this Melania and being a widow? It could be. And this is also, this is going to be what manipulation are they going to have with the elections? Female here is going to be in a lesser position than the king. So whatever it is that they're going to try to do, their challenge is going to be literally Mark Elias. That's their challenge. And so I will take Mark Elias any day over whatever they think that they're going to be able to do to manipulate. He is going to lead, they are going to manipulate. And I'm also going to, and I get that with pairing this as well. So looking here with, shine a light into the darkness. What can we do? What did we do in the past? And now they're going to be looking at this because these cards are looking to the past. This is looking to the future. They don't have a plan. They think that Dear Leader is actually going to be able to do something to be able to help them. And this is like, no. The manipulation is not going to withstand the legal scrutiny in an actual court of law. Okay, and that we have the bigger coalition here of, and also playing on people's, I don't want to say playing on their emotions, but reminding people, that would probably be a better word here, reminding people that of all the stuff that Donald has done to wreck the United States. And so, yeah, they're going to be running on a message of the economy. Let's see here. Will that message work? The message of the economy. Because they cannot. In fact, I'm going to see what their message is going to be. So the message of the Democrats. What will their overall message be going into the midterms? The gas prices, the grocery prices, the restrictions, the tightening of the belt that we all feel here with our, with the kitchen table issues. So one of restrictions that our government did that. Yep. And so how is it that our government is actually representing the people? They're not. And we have a new idea. We have a new message of how this can be. So yeah, they're going to be playing on the table, the kitchen table issues. And then here, they're going to be, what are they going to be doing? Talking about the Hormuz Strait. Yeah. The Hormuz Strait is still closed. Just looking here at the bottom cards. They don't have a coherent message, and it's one of a burden. The damn reality TV show. I mean, it's just, you look at this. Okay, so what is their message going to be beyond that? I just found those bottom cards interesting since I had pulled those here for this one. Okay, so the messaging for the Republicans. What, Dear Leader? That's what they have, and they've been told to distance themselves from Donald. Okay, so their messaging, release the e-files, the irrational, unhinged action that they are trying to keep under wraps. So this is, they're doing everything they can to try to keep the e-files out of the news. This is also, they cannot have the economy be in the news either. So everything that they're going to do, I'm just seeing this as the fast and furious lying that they're going to have to do to try to keep what Dear Leader has done under wraps. Okay, so next I want to do is I want to look at the, so anyway, that pretty much wraps up that. With how that's going to look for going into the midterms. The Republicans are really disarray and new messaging. That's going to be what that looks like if I'm going to summarize that. So let's look at, I want to know, and I'll just do short ones on this because I've got some more things that I want to kind of wrap this reading up with. I don't want it to get too long. Okay, I want to know, will the Democrats get a supermajority in the House of Representatives? They're planning on getting the majority, but I want to know, is it going to be a supermajority? Okay, the House supermajority, our hopes, wishes, and dreams, the resistance card, the action that, and I'm seeing this as just like strategic, like very strategic planning. going forward. And this actually came in upside down. And so it's this is uncovering the lies. So with this, I'm thinking, and the investigations, oh my God, the investigations. Yes, I think that they are going to have, they're going to have the majority. That was already expected. I would not be surprised if it's not the super majority. Karma, messaging, and let's see what do I have this deck. I kind of wonder if I don't have this deck kind of upside down too. So, but I do have cards all mixed up. So if I'm looking at this, it's like the investigations, the whistleblowers, and the karma. So that is what the House side is going to be looking like. What is the Senate side going to be looking like? Are we going to get a majority, if not a super majority, in the Senate? What is the Senate looking like? And the Senate, there is going to have to be coming together across the aisle. So there's that. Planting seeds for the future. And I'm going to see this. This also came in upside down. So the seeds are planted in the dirt, in the dark, upside down. I'm actually going to see this as growth and investigations. So yes, they do take the Senate, because investigations that will occur, and they're not going to be restricted anymore. That one came in upside down too. So I think that there is going to definitely be investigations. And so that's telling me that the Democrats will take the Senate. However, you do get bipartisanship here. So I'm curious. I'm actually more curious about this bipartisanship. What is it that we need to know about this Lover's card in the bipartisanship? Oh, and it could be the e-files. This is also one of my e-files card. So the e-files that they're going to get their hands on. So let me get a little bit more in that. Shining a light into the dark, it's the e-files and the investigations that they're going to do with that. And quickly, and into Don Old and what he's done. So yes, I do think that they are going to take the both the House and the Senate, because we're getting investigations here, and that the Senate surprisingly is going to really be taking on a lot of the e-files. And the reason I say surprisingly is because the House is the one, like with Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, started the discharge petition over here for the Epstein Transparency Act. Here, definitely investigations. You're going to have whistleblowers, and then this is going to be the karma card, the Wheel of Fortune card. So karma coming for them. Yay! I like that so much. I'm going to get some of these cards turned around. I don't normally read upside down cards, but when they come in upside down, I go ahead and do that. Okay, so one final question that I have is, what is January 3rd, 2027 going to look like? There's my bottom card. Okay, what is January 3rd, 2027 going to look like? After all is said and done, what is that day going to look like when we get a new Congress sworn in? And I also kind of want to know, like, what's led up to that, what leads up to. So I guess I'm going to put out a full spread, and the January 3rd, 2027 is going to be the center here. What has happened leading up to that, and then what can we expect going forward? Okay, that's how I want to lay that out. Okay, January 3rd, 2027, leading up to that, the day of, and then thereafter. Okay, and with that, 3. Are we going to have 3 functioning bodies of government finally? That would be nice. Raising our glasses with champagne, and that's the challenge. The challenge is going to be, probably it's been like a very emotional road getting there. It's been a lot of work that we've had to do to get to January 3rd, and I find that interesting, the 3, January 3rd. Okay, so that, and it's going to be a very emotionally happy day, but it's not going to be without worry. That's what I'm going to say, because it's coming up as a challenge. Like, we're like, are we going to get there? And it's like, yes, we are going to get there. There's a big old pile of karma headed MAGA's way. Good for them. The foundation, they have lost. They have lost. In the past, everything that has been done in the past, and then you've got the karma coming in, and then a new way forward. There is our, may the force be with us. We have our lightsaber here getting ready to light the way and literally cut through the crap, do the investigations, and everything that had to happen, like to get here to them being sworn in, I see is just going to be additional karma coming back on to MAGA and everything that they did. So, yeah. January 3rd, 2027, on that day, whenever they're all sworn in, it's been a lot of hard work. It's been a lot of emotional work. There was a lot of worry that we weren't ever going to get there, but we do. What has led to that is going to be everything that they've done to try to steal the midterm elections, but they lose. This is a card of losing. In its lower energy. People walk away. They're not going to be able to hold on to everything because they're going to lose, and they're going to have their asses handed to them. Okay, and then what we have to look forward to is the wheel of karma coming for them and all of the investigations and them being held legally accountable. Well, I love that so much for this lot of criminals. May they get what they deserve. Okay, so this series of readings that I did this week is an update to a reading I did over a year ago, and it was what finally removes Trump from office. And what I got a year ago would ultimately be his health, with additional pressures from the military, the e-files, and election interference. And this week's update is showing that those same stressors are actively at play today. We see his active health decline, and then the same stressors of the military, the e-files, and election interference. These are going to be the same stressors that we are going to continue to watch as we move into the midterms. So I want to end today's episode with a audio clip of Mark Elias on Rachel Maddow's show on June 15th. I've talked about this periodically from time to time, and so I actually want to play it because it lands better, I think, hearing it from Mark, because he is just so he's very reassuring. He's very confident in his stance. And so I want to play that for you. As I said, this is from Rachel Maddow's show on June 15th, talking about the midterms. And he discusses how he's prepared with the Democrats to fight back, and then the role that we, the resistance, play.
Do you feel like that elected Democrats in the Senate and the House in important statewide positions sort of understand their roles and what their individual parts will be to play if any of these scenarios come to pass?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of work and understanding in the last few months. You know, I've been doing this a very long time, Rachel, and never have I seen the Democratic Party as prepared as they are today. And that includes, by the way, the work I did to help Joe Biden and the Democrats beat Donald Trump 60 times in the post-election in 2020. So there are a lot of people involved in preparing. We need to stay focused on the task at hand. It is a very daunting challenge, not like one we've seen before, but I do think the Democratic Party is prepared.
What should the public expect their role to be?
Yeah, I think three things. I think number one, they need to prepare to vote, right? They need to understand that the rules may have changed. The registration may be being challenged. We're seeing Donald Trump do that. And so everyone needs to understand the rules, and they need to have a plan to vote. Even if they voted before, they need to make out a plan about how they're going to vote this time and make sure they are prepared. Number two is they need to be educated. I mean, I'm thrilled, Rachel, that you are doing this episode tonight with your enormous audience and people paying attention, because it is educating people about the threats that are coming so that they won't be quite as scary. They won't seem quite as out of the blue. So people need to get educated and to share that information with others. I started Democracy Docket actually to be a resource that people could share information from. But there are lots of good sources of information to share. And then finally, if we get down to the place where Republicans or Donald Trump are trying to interfere in the election, then we're going to need people to mobilize. We're going to need them to mobilize peacefully. We're going to need them to mobilize within the law, but we're going to need the public to be prepared to be active in protesting any efforts by the Republicans to overturn the will of the voters. Look, the lawyers are going to do a lot of heavy lifting here. The political professionals will do a lot of heavy lifting here, but it is ultimately on the people of the United States to really do their job. And if that happens, I think we'll be fine.
So we, the people, are the hope for the future. We are going to save ourselves. Just like Dr. Snyder said in the clip, if we spectate, we lose. And it's going to be through our actions, which Mark Elias discusses too. Volunteering, calling, protesting, voting, and anything that we can do to help ensure winning in November. So find your Democratic candidate to support today. I am wearing my, let me pull you down here real quick, my Missy for Missouri, District 7, and it's big. I went last Friday. I went to the fundraiser, and Big Smith is a popular local band here. They don't play very often, and so whenever they play, it's like, oh, it's a big deal for us to get to hear them. So that was a lot of fun to attend. So yeah, find your community, whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's a combination of both, and remember, we are the hope, we save ourselves, and may the force be with you. You guys, I will catch you on the next video, which is going to be on Monday, and we will be going back to our regularly scheduled format, but I do have some ideas for some future possible revisits of the Star Wars theme, because I think you guys really enjoyed it. I know I really enjoyed this week. It just made it a little bit easier to kind of dive into some more heavier topics for us. So you guys, thank you very much, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.